Hello YouTubers, you're on an all new action reaction, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Expendables 2. Here we go. The Expendables 2 is directed by Simon West, stars Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Randy Couture, Liam Hemsworth, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terry Crews, Nan Yu, and Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Villain. So yeah, that is the brief cast and crew of The Expendables 2. Now this is a sequel to the 2010 film The Expendables, which I highly enjoyed. Sylvester Stallone directed that. It was a love letters to 80s and action 90s film. And Simon West previously did Con Air, and this is one of those sequels where I kind of like the first more, but they basically make it bigger, louder, and in some ways better as far as action goes. They really up the ante in Expendables 2. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a step up from Eric Roberts as the villain. He plays Villain. And the story pretty much revolves around them doing their usual stuff. It starts with this mission, and they have to rescue somebody. It turns out to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. One of the few action films where he's introduced without having his face appeared. His face is covered. But this was his first acting role after being governor of California. And you can really tell that they kind of have their groove back in this. It's also rated R again, so it has that awesome R-rated action. But it starts off with their mission, and then Jet Li's kind of out of the picture at the beginning after that, which disappoints me because I really like the team and their setup in the first one. But Dolph Lundgren's back, and originally he was going to be killed off in the first one, and they decided against it in case there was a sequel being made, in which case Expendables 2 was made. And this was actually in pre-production before the first Expendables was completed filming. They had the idea to make a sequel before the first one was completed, so this one came out really fast. But I like it. You get to explore the characters more. You have some minuses. So Jet Li has a shorter role. Mickey Rourke's not in it as Tool, so that kind of takes away from the feeling of the first one. But you do get Nan Yu's character. She's a female that's there. Liam Hemsworth plays a younger Expendables member, and he's pretty much a mercenary, but he wants out of it. He has a fiance. He wants a better life, and Barney sees that. He really doesn't want him to have the same life he does. He's like, this isn't for family men, you know? This is like for people who really have nothing to lose. They're expendable. So it pretty much starts off there with the rescue Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. Then Mr. Church, Bruce Willis from the first one, is pissed off still that the Expendables pretty much screwed him over and didn't go with the deal. And he's like, you owe me one. So Bruce Willis sends him on a mission to stop this weapon from exploding, basically, to get nuclear arms. It's pretty much getting these weapons, and it's Villain, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it opens up with him killing Liam Hemsworth in front of the Expendables, which sets a revenge mission, and that's what drives this film. You really are kind of pissed off. Now, I really don't care for Liam Hemsworth. I personally like Chris more than Liam, but in this, it really is effective. He's a younger member, and it's done right. He actually has skills. He's a sniper. There's such a terrific opening action scene with boats and an airplane and all this other crazy nonsense. Really well done. And unlike 3, you get to really see his skills. He feels like he belongs to the team. So when he dies, it's a young soul, and it's on Barney, and it's on the Expendables, so they have a revenge mission to get Villain. And I like that. It's pretty much like a traditional action film. If there's any cons about this film, it's a little bit too overstuffed with characters. Maybe some of the humor, and the story isn't as strong as the first. But ultimately, my main beef with this film is that it's a little bit too short, because I feel like the movie's just getting started at the airport battle scene, and it just kind of ends after that. And I'm disappointed. And I wish the fight was longer. But it's probably the best fight out of the Expendables trilogy. And yeah, the action scenes. The action is terrific in this. Real explosions. The boat scene I said at the beginning. The tank stuff. Some of the humor stuff is great. I like the village. They go to the village. Oh, freaking Chuck Norris is in this. He got out of retirement to be in this film. He's pretty much like his previous characters, much in the way that Barney Ross is more like Rambo, you know, and a little bit of the specialist and stuff. But, yeah, The Expendables 2 overall, is it an Oscar-worthy movie? No. It's actually one of the few Expendables, the only Expendables film to not be nominated for a Razzie, but It's an enjoyable action film. And on that, if you like the first Expendables, you're going to probably enjoy the second one just as much, if not more. I personally like the first Expendables the best, but the second one is not a bad sequel. And as far as sequels go, this is a fun ride. And where else are you going to find Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris, and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same film with Jean-Claude Van Damme? I mean, for growing up in the 90s and just watching 80s and 90s action films, this is just like an action film fan's wet dream. It's just amazing. But Terry Crews is there. Again, Arnold gets to use his shotgun, saying he likes it. I like the line of yippee-ki-yay, and it's just like, I'll be back. And he's like, and then when Chuck Norris appears and Arnold's like, who's next, Rambo? I just love that. Just the humor between them. It's just very funny. It's a guys movie. But, yeah. The action's great. Brian Tyler comes back to do the score. And the music's really good with the action explosions. The acting, I like the chemistry between the people. I like the more quieter scenes. You can really tell Sylvester Stallone came in and rewrote some stuff, especially where it's with the female that's with them, and he's talking to her, and then they're talking all in the camp before the village is attacked. And it's those quieter moments, and also the quieter moments when Sylvester Stallone's talking to Liam Hemsworth's character about him understanding about him wanting to leave the team. That's a little bit stronger. I really like the stuff there. I like the Chuck Norris jokes, but the action, yeah, that whole airport battle is just amazing. I love it. I love the fight between Jason Statham and Villain's right-hand man. And then who could forget that final fight with Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme? Holy shit, is that fucking amazing. I just love that fight. It should have been a way, way longer fight. I was expecting the Jean-Claude Van Damme to do a lot more. It's good for what they did, but ultimately I think Jean-Claude Van Damme could have done a lot more damage, and I really would have loved to see Barney try to overcome that. But it was a great fight. I love the whole scorpion move with the chain. And it's like his name was Billy. Just stabs him. I love that. I love how he just screws him up at the end. And that fight. And ultimately the ending sets it up for another one and concludes the Expendables 2. So yeah, man, I have my reservations about it, but ultimately, if you're an action fan, see this movie. Seriously, I wish more action films were like the Expendables trilogy. It's a good love letter. A lot of people find them corny and as a bad throwback, but I'd rather watch like 7 more Expendable films than any more of the Fast and Furious. I really would. The Expendables are just awesome, and if I had to give the Expendables 2 a score, I would give it an A- and a 4 out of 5. I like the first one better, but it's just as good as the first as far as action and entertainment. In a way, the action is a lot more better done, but I do miss Sylvester Stallone's direction, the grittiness of it. It wasn't about the one-liners. It wasn't too overstuffed. It was just a perfect amount. Now, if they just got like the right people and a limited team with a stronger story and just great action, I feel the series could have gone much longer than 3 films. But from what we got, it's not bad, and you can tell it's from the director of Con Air, so they got a capable director to continue it and have that type of action, old-fashioned action feel of the older action movies. So yeah, it says here, bigger, badder, and better than the first one. In some ways it is. So yeah, A- and 4 out of 5. That is my reaction, briefly, of The Expendables 2. If you have not seen The Expendables 2 or The Expendables trilogy, check them out. And if you have seen Expendables 2, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of it and what's your favorite moment from it? My favorite moment is probably the Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone fight, but I also like the part where they get that little mini car and Arnold breaks the door off and then Bruce Willis kicks the door off and it's almost like they're measuring each other of who's more manly, you know? That's just so funny. But I also like that in Dolph Lundgren. He's a marine biologist in real life, so they get some of his actual real-life expertise with formulas and stuff on that napkin. I love that part. But, yeah, let me know what's your favorite Expendables movie. What did you like about The Expendables 2? And if you like this, feel free to click the like button, comment, and subscribe.